Yes, we've just gone through a huge financial disaster, that's true. The financial system, Wall Street, and banks, they've been under fire for a long time. So what do I mean by that? I have a couple quotes. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless. Thomas Jefferson, 1809. So you can see, throughout history, banks and money have always been thought of in a very particular way. We're going to hear more about that today.
Our regulatory system punishes those who are too harsh. They do themselves real harm. If they stand up to the interests of Wall Street or in government, they are punished for it. Whereas if you go along and get along, and you just wait your time, you too get to spin through the revolving door and claim that giant pot of gold at the end of the Wall Street rainbow, or move up within the administration. So ultimately, I believe, in order for us to have that real type of reform, we need to both deal with the corrupting influence of the mega banks on the one hand, but on the other hand, also reform our regulatory structure and the incentives there as well, and incentivize good, aggressive regulation as well.
If you've been thinking that the very strong role that governments have been playing since the financial crisis here and elsewhere is a fluke that will pass when the crisis passes, I think you should think again. In fact, you're likely to see very strong government involvement in the economy and in not necessarily individual business decisions, but in decisions which affect how businesses operate, both here and overseas. I hear too many people in academics, the media, and in politics who speak as if we've accomplished nothing because we have not accomplished everything. And I think that's a misjudgment of where we actually are. There were really serious problems, and some of them remain. But the core of the system is something that we've seen over time works. And you want to be very careful about just throwing it out and making really huge changes.
Indeed, the Great Recession has been great. There's no doubt about it. We're still not recovered. Remember, the Great Recession started in December of 2007. We're now in 2013. So it's been a long time. Things are still growing. We might still see some evidence of some deleveraging out there. Housing prices are starting to rise. Sales are starting to rise. Those are all good signs locally. However, as I mentioned, local income's been stagnant for about 5 years. We're not seeing any rise in local income. What are the growth prospects? Well, I was told never to show this graph again, but it's my talk, so I always show this graph because I like it. This starts in 1929. It's real gross domestic product. It's real income. They're the same thing. This grows. This is a logarithm of that. The reason I do logarithms is so you can see a straight line. That straight line, means that we get richer every year on average by somewhere between 2 and 3%. Every year we get richer. You can see one huge thing here. This is the Great Depression. This is World War II. Aside from those things, you can see this is not too bad. It's pretty straight. What's happened during those times? We've had other wars. We've had good and bad presidents. We've had hurricanes. We've had all kinds of things. We've had, trying to stop this from happening. The market is amazing. So what do I predict? I predict there's nothing that's going to stop us from growing at this rate. We get these little wiggles from time to time. This is the Great Recession we're in now. That. In the whole scope, it's not so big. When we're living it, it's really bad, and we think we should do lots of things. But no matter what we do, you can see, Democrats, Republicans, whatever, this grows like that. So I'm optimistic. Thank you.